Hey, welcome back to LWN Network, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025, and I am Tammy Nation, your host of Headline Hits, Monday through Thursday, noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me today. It's noontime or early in the morning if you're on the West Coast, depending on where you're at. We had a big night at LWN Network last night where we broadcasted live. LW, myself, and Jeff B. Trump's address to Congress last night. And we're going to cover some of those points and what he said last night and what came out of it and the rebuttal that came from the Democrat representative senator from Michigan. And we've got some other stories as well. We've got Elon, something that he had to say on the Joe Rogan podcast. We've got Bondi, who says she has all the Epstein files now. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out as we grow and work on this channel. So as we head into the first story of the day, we're going to talk about Trump. Last night, he had his first official address to Congress, talking to them, and we did stream that. And some points to that whole speech, which was like 110 minutes, I believe, he spoke of reciprocal tariffs going into place starting April 2nd. That means whatever countries charge the U.S., we will in return charge them. Trump states that this is to be fair to us and them as well, because in almost all cases, they are charging us vastly more than we ever charged them. He said, but those days are over. He was heavy-handed. He was direct. It was an amazing speech to watch. He said 6 weeks ago, the dawn of the golden age of America has begun, and his administration has begun the economic revitalization, and he's cracked down on illegal immigration and then a shift in America's foreign policy posture. The speech was great for Trump to solidify basically his agenda and push back against any resistance with his party. Trump stated, "My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun." He said it's going to be nothing like we've ever seen before. And that's pretty inspiring and amazing when we see what he's accomplished, his administration, in 6 short weeks. President Trump also called out prior President Joe Biden, saying he was the worst president in American history. And he claimed that he used his office to viciously prosecute him, and also stated that Joe Biden let the price of eggs get out of control, which prompted many boos from the Democrats, which that was a funny statement. Eggs seem to be the highlight of conversation lately. Trump also talked against the bipartisan CHIPS and Science Act, a Biden administration law that sought to boost domestic semiconductor production. However, Trump stated, "Your CHIPS Act is horrible, horrible, and it's terrible. We give hundreds of billions of dollars to semiconductor manufacturers, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it," claiming the overseas chip manufacturers didn't want to pay tariffs. He said, "You should get rid of the CHIPS Act and do whatever is left over, Mr. Speaker," as he spoke to Johnson. He said, "You should use that to reduce debt or any other reason you want to," Trump said. And if you remember, he just made a $100 billion deal to bring that chip manufacturing here back into this country, so we get the benefits of jobs and money and buildings and it all being built here. So that's a quick switcheroo that he's done on that Biden administration rule. Also, when Trump called Biden the worst president in American history, the Democrats did have a lot of audible comments that included lie after lie after lie. They said, "Tell the truth." Another one shouted, it was Rep. Rashida Tlaib from Michigan. She held up a whiteboard that she wrote messages on throughout the speech. At one point, it said, "No king." And then another Florida Democrat, Maxwell Frost, walked off the floor after he stood up in a black T-shirt and said, "No kings live here." And one of the biggest moments regarding the Democrats was when Rep. Al Green, a Democrat from Texas, shouted at Trump. He was waving his cane at him, and he said, "No mandate to cut Medicaid," before he was expelled from the floor by the Sergeant of Arms at the request of House Speaker Mike Johnson. That was how basically the whole speech opened up was him getting expelled. And shortly after his exit were reports that Mr. Green was drafting up impeachment papers against Trump. Isn't that the thing they always go to? And you really can't behave that way and get away with it. So when you're warned a few times before, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did warn him and he kept it up. So I think that he embarrassed himself in front of a nation behaving that way. It was very, very disgusting the way that they behaved, the Democrats, throughout this. Also, we had a couple other Democratic representatives that walked out on the speech early, including Bernie Sanders. He left, and so did Jasmine Crockett, which is a rep from Texas. But the good news is, on top of what Trump had to say, positive for America moving forward, there were some also very heartfelt moments when the president spoke of Laken Riley and introduced her family, the wife of a fallen law enforcement officer. And then the biggest moment I felt was DJ Daniel. He's a 13-year-old terminally ill child who has been battling brain cancer for 6 years, and he always dreamed of becoming a police officer. Well, this beautiful moment turned into something special for DJ because they made him an honorary Secret Service agent. President Trump's Secret Service director, Sean Curran, who handed him his own badge and ID. And that little boy was so happy. He held it up high and he gave Sean a hug that I'm sure Sean will never forget. And the big thing is, throughout these beautiful moments and tender moments, all the Dems remained solemn, quiet, sitting, arms crossed. Never once did they stand or clap or show any sort of compassion for any of these people who have dealt with so much pain. These are not political issues. They are human stories of tragedy and triumph, and every single one of the Democrats remained emotionless. Yet the emotion of the moment was also lost on liberal commentator Kyle Kulinski, who posted on X, listen to this statement: Trump is using a kid who had brain cancer as a prop. He wants to be a cop, so he made him an honorary member of the service. Secret Service. What kind of twisted way to look at a beautiful moment for DJ, that 13-year-old boy, than this person saying that Trump was using this kid as a prop. It was just the ongoing train of thought between liberals and Democrats at the beautiful moments that they could have shown some emotion, shown something good. The Dems also remained seated when the president talked of RFK Jr., who Trump called Bobby, and thanked him for his efforts to make America healthy again. Really, the Democrats showed the world who they really are, and it's not a party of compassion, to say the least. Democratic Senator from Michigan, Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, did provide a recorded short reaction to the speech. Some of the things that she had to say, we have readily heard from the Democratic Party trying to invoke fear into us by stating Trump will go after your Social Security and VA benefits. She accused Trump of driving up costs while pushing for an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends, stating Trump has not laid out a credible plan to address rising everyday expenses for Americans. Slotkin said the tariffs that went into effect early Tuesday would only worsen the economy. Slotkin acknowledged that America wanted great change, but there is a responsible way to make change in a reckless way. We can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy. She also stated change doesn't need to be chaotic or make us less safe, and warned of the dangers of Trump's economic approach. For those keeping score, the national debt is also going up, not down. And if he's not careful, he could walk us right into a recession. I don't know about you, but I feel safer than I've ever felt in the last 4 or 5 years with Trump and his administration in office. So that is kind of the rhetoric that we've been hearing from that side all along. She just echoed that in the statement. She, of course, went after Doge, stating that they go through your personal stuff, these young, unsupervised people. Well, isn't that what happened to a lot of us through social media sources and the selling and sharing of our private information for others' benefits and profits? Doge is finding corruption, poor spending, lost dollars, and all sorts of waste. So really her remarks come as Democrats are struggling to find a unified message to counter Trump And that really came true last night because the House chamber, right in there, the Democratic members were holding place cards up with various messages, and some Democrats chose not to come to the speech at all. Others sat in silence. Some shot criticisms at Trump. So basically, we saw how disorganized they are, that they're not sure what to do as a party in general. They're using the same old playbook, trying to instill fear into the American people, telling them lies and half-truths, instead of trying to unify and come together with solutions. So basically, all in all, Trump gave about a 100-minute plus speech. It hit the nerve of the Democratic Party, who I think are in a tailspin, and I think you guys think the same as well after seeing their performance last night. And as some scampered away throughout the speech and sat quiet, unresponsive, with no regard for the heart, emotion, hope, and efforts of the Trump administration, he has all this underway to make America great again. And like I said, they couldn't even put politics aside to be able to just to celebrate this little boy or any of the families that Trump had introduced to share their stories, their tragedies, and give them some kind of recognition. So it's pretty shameful. Now, as we move on to the next story, Zelenskyy now wants a peace deal, you guys. Warning bells go off here now. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy called his meeting at the White House last week regrettable, you think? On Tuesday, he said he is ready to pursue peace under President Donald Trump's leadership. Listen to some of these statements. Zelenskyy made the concession in a lengthy statement posted to social media Tuesday, saying Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table. Actually, I thought he was already there and kind of messed that up. He added that last week's meeting did not go the way it was supposed to be, and he said, "It's time to make things right. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war, and the first stages could be the release of prisoners and a truce in the sky, ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately. If Russia will do the same, then we want to move very fast through all the next stages and to work with the U.S. to agree to a strong final deal." Now, these are some brilliant comments, and it's what I believe he should have done at the beginning, but, he didn't. We all saw his performance. We saw the backlash that he was facing from his performance. And lastly, he states that we really do value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. And we remember the moment when things changed, when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this, the statement continued. So remember, in the meeting, Trump said, Biden gave you sheets and I gave you javelins, or Obama gave you sheets and we gave you javelins. So he came out and he recognized that. But that was a pretty funny moment when Trump said that, because it is true. As we move on to the next story, Bondi has now turned all the Epstein files over to Kash Patel, FBI director. So she came out and revealed that the Department of Justice has received more Jeffrey Epstein files from the FBI after the document release she touted last week fell flat. Remember that kerfuffle there. So she spoke to Fox News host Sean Hannity, stating that she confirmed a truckload of Epstein files, and they were delivered by the FBI after she gave the agency until 8 a.m. on Friday morning to deliver them. She said, "I gave the FBI a deadline to get us everything, and a source had told me where the documents were being kept in the Southern District of New York," and she said, "Shock. So we get them all by Friday at 8 a.m. She said, "Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them now, and Director Kash Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all those documents." And she said, we're going to get through it. We're going to go through them all. We're going through all these files as fast as we can, but we have to go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein. The Attorney General also accused the Biden administration of sitting on the documents, and she said nobody did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? She says, "I want a full report on that." Sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, she stated, but I think more unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And as we know, Bondi says she was misled on Epstein documents, saying she had them all on her desk and then did not. So let's hope the release of the information goes swiftly and justice is served to those waiting for a very long time. But we do know, and we have said that she kind of broke the trust, and she kind of misspoke, saying she had those documents, and then she said, well, I didn't get them all. So we have to see, obviously, how this develops. We just know that we want it to happen quickly. Now that cash is on it, I have faith and hope that things are going to be done. Justice will be served, because, like I said, so many people have been affected by this for years and years, and justice has been long overdue. And that's one of the main things we, the American people, hired Donald J. Trump for, is to get to the bottom of the things that haven't been gotten to the bottom of. So we stay in hope and prayer that will happen. And then I have a last little tidbit here about Elon Musk. Is Elon in danger? Because he was appearing on the Joe Rogan show, and he spoke about the things that Doge is uncovering. Now, we know that the left is trying to stop Doge at every way they can. They're pulling all the maneuvers, using all the tools that they can to stop Doge from doing anything, from telling us that they're, spying on us and finding out all this information they don't need to know. And the list goes on and on. But Elon was saying the insider trading stuff, like the stock portfolio stuff, is quite trackable. But it's a lot more, and I'm reading exactly what he said, but it's a lot more than insider trading. The way they're acquiring wealth and what other methods they are acquiring wealth. I mean, this is really going to get me unalived. Like, I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff. And he said, to say the least. I mean, I'm supposed to go back to DC. How am I going to survive? They are going to unalive me for sure. So in fact, I do not think like this. Like, it's actually, I have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff, because it's going to get me off. It's like if I push too hard on the corruption stuff. So that was his statement. It was kind of broken up, and he kind of stuttered through it. And I wanted to read it verbatim, basically what he said. So basically, we know that he's doing this for love of country. People have thrown him under the bus, saying bad things about him and his Doge team and what they're doing. But he's coming out saying on how serious this issue is. So the amount of corruption and people involved that Elon is uncovering, we have to take pause and realize how very serious it is, that he's concerned about his life. We know what has happened to President Trump, the illegal searches that different people have experienced and taken place in their homes. Remember all the attacks on the different Congress people and different people that were done because they were speaking out, or they had some information to share, some truth to tell us, the American people. This is real. And the people that are corrupt, remember, are not going to stop fighting any way they need to fight. They're going to keep doing it so they don't go down. So it is really a brave thing, taking on corruption to save this country. And I don't think we realize the depth and length and the amount of people that are involved in this corruption. And I really believe that we've only found the beginning of this. So we have to keep in prayer and thought for these people that are fighting to save this country, so you and I can have the lives that we were promised, the American dream, to have our finances back in check and shape, to have our voices heard. Because if you look at the left, they ignore our voices. The majority of people in America want exactly to happen what President Donald J. Trump and his administration are doing. We voted for this. The numbers and the majority of people voted for this. Hardcore. Trump promised this was going to happen once he got put in office. And the Dems will not stop. They're even going to try to shut down government in the first 100 days and blame it on Trump. So we have to stay diligent. We have to stay prayerful and hopeful, and know that there is a lot of risks being taken by a lot of people that don't need to take the risks, other than they want this country back the way it should be for we, the American people. They love this country. They love God, and they love family. They love what is right. They love that there's men and women only. They are wiping out all the corruption and the negativity and the lies, financially, emotionally, in the schools and everywhere. So we have to support them, stay tough, make sure we keep spreading the good word and the good news, and stay paying attention to what's going on each and every day. So that's what I have today for this Wednesday, March 5th for Headline Hits, you guys. I will be back tomorrow, the same time, noon Eastern Standard Time, with another Headline Hits, and I will see you guys then. Thanks so much for joining me. Like and share this channel, please, and give us a follow. Take care. God bless. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.